The first thing to know is this: the house did not begin as a house. It began as a person standing in an empty field, holding a box of things that did not look like enough. A bent nail. 3 boards not quite the same length. A memory of how a door once felt closing softly against a quiet evening. No blueprint. No promise. Just the wind asking a question. What will you make with this? So the person knelt, pressed the boards into the earth, and called it a beginning. The first wall leaned. The second wall argued with the first. And still something took shape. Not perfect, but present. Days passed in the small decisions. A window made from an old frame found nearby, light slipping through uneven glass, turning flaws into patterns on the floor. A roof patched together, not to impress anyone, but to keep out the cold. And inside that space, life began to gather. A chair pulled close to the window. A cup placed where hands could hold it. Laughter arriving unexpectedly as if it had always known the way. People passed by and said, "This will never last." But they did not see how each piece was chosen not for beauty, but for belonging. How the bent nail held firm because it was driven with care. How the uneven boards fit because someone stayed long enough to understand their shape. Storms came, of course they did, and the house trembled, but it did not disappear because it was never only wood and nail. It was attention. It was persistence. It was the quiet refusal to leave. Years later, someone stood at the doorway, running their hand along the wall, feeling every place where the effort lived, and they said, "This is beautiful." Not because it was flawless, but because it was made. And the person who built it smiled without needing to explain that nothing more had ever been required, only the courage to begin with what was already there. Be nice, be kind, and be the greatest expression of you.